Hey guys, it's another episode of The Rebellion. It's weeks, so please forgive me if it takes me a minute to get started. Oh, yeah, the speaker here. This sucks because I can't tag people on live. I'm having a hard time. I'm going to try to invite them during the video. All right, so today we're talking about gender in society. And we're talking about sacred sexuality. Let me turn the feed around. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. That didn't work out. All right. I'm trying to get this thing started, people. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about, gender has been changing a lot over the last 5 years or so, especially. It's really, really become a hot button issue. And actually, a lot of us who are just a little older are having a hard time adjusting to it as quickly as we would like. And some things I do think are going a little too far, but I don't want to be... It's such an issue right now, like I said. But it's like people don't... One of the things we wanted to talk about was people don't remember what it's like. Let me figure it. Okay. People don't remember what it's like, what it was like back in the day for a woman, what it was like just existing, you know? Like you hear about it and you feel like, you know, you see some movies and stuff. But those of us who remember, it was, I mean, honestly, things have changed a lot, and I have some thoughts on that, on you know, what that means as far as I have some thoughts on that that it might relate to the shootings that happened, because what people don't understand is, like, for one thing, we wanted to point out, like, it wasn't that long ago that you really could just catcall women very, very openly and just be like, you know, just outright, you know. And men then did not understand how terrifying that can be to a woman, you know. Like, I don't find that men often understand what it is women are really afraid of anyway. That's just, I suppose that's natural. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about, was that, like, so many people don't, there are some differences mentally between men and women, and as an empath, I've had some interesting experiences related to that. Like, I had a friend who, for some reason, I could feel all his emotions. He was a very passionate person, and I could feel his emotions like they were my own emotions. And in the way that, like, if a hot girl was there, I would literally feel this wave of lust come over him. And it wasn't a choice. This is what I want women to understand. He wasn't sitting there being a dick or anything. This was a purely biological, unconscious response that men have. It's like, and I tell women, it's like when you see a dress you really like and you just have to have it. It sounds stupid, but it's true. It's they're just looking at the outer beauty, and then they're looking for the inner beauty. If you don't have inner beauty, nobody's, obviously, but that's just the way guys are. Guys just generally see you, and they get an overall impression of your energy as well as your beauty, and then, you know, and they just have a visceral response to it. And women have a hard time understanding that now, especially. Like, it's really hard for us to understand that at all. And now it's like men get yelled at a lot just for looking at women, just for having normal feelings. These are biological feelings. That's what I want people to understand, that this isn't something they're not exactly choosing. It's hard to now, because, like, a lot of women don't really want to hear it, to be truthful. It's hard for us as women to understand that there are differences. Like, here's another one that women don't know about, okay? Like, if a guy's looking at a sunset and he's enjoying the sunset, a woman will turn to him and she'll say, "What are you thinking about?" and the guy will say, I'm not thinking about anything, I'm enjoying the sunset. And a woman can't understand that, especially a younger woman. They can't understand that at all, because honestly, they are, like, women are looking at the sunset, and they're enjoying the sunset, and they're fully taking it in completely. Hey! And they're taking that sunset in completely, but yet that woman's still thinking like, oh, this is romantic. I wonder what he's thinking. This is so great. I'm so glad I'm here with him. And women have this constant ongoing chatter that we have. And that's because we're better. Hi, Melissa. It's because our brains are better at, like, we're better linguistically, and the two halves of our brain communicate a little better. So it makes us a lot more chatty inside. Hi. And it's not a bad quality necessarily. It's just that men don't have that quality. They're literally looking at the sunset, and all they're doing is focusing on the sunset. That's like all they're doing, Yeah, exactly. It's not always about romance, And yeah. I mean, and not everything's always perfect. Like, we all have our own stupid issues. I was just having stupid issues too, and I was like, all the days to have stupid issues. When I'm going to talk about gender, this is not the day, so, but isn't it always the way? I don't think, things are stupid, whatever, but, yeah, alchemy, yes, I'm very interested in inner alchemy. That's, outer alchemy and inner alchemy, actually. That's cool. I can't wait. That's nice. You're going to tell me what they're like. I've heard of the mystery of the golden flower, I think. No, but it's like men really can focus more on one thing, and brain-wise, it's because their brains aren't as connected between. They're more focused on the one hemisphere, but it actually has a lot of advantages. Just like our configuration has advantages too. But the point is, like, now with the culture being as woke as it is and stuff, it's actually, like, I do really feel sorry for guys, and a lot of guys are really repressing, the young guys especially, they're repressing a lot. And repression's bad. Repression isn't good. Repression doesn't make you better. Repression just makes you hide your shit secretly, and then it makes it worse. It literally just makes your, like, the stuff you don't want to be, like, overly lustful and stuff, it makes it worse, I mean, honestly, I think this is partly why Tinder is so popular, because everybody has to be so PC all the time. They just don't want to deal with anything. They just want a quick fuck, No offense. I don't mean to be rude, but that's, like, basic. That's it. That's how I see it. Yeah. They don't want anything. They're just like, and there's a certain little dirtiness to it, and that's because, like, if anytime you're trying to repress, we would consider animalistic needs, that's bad, because they're going to get worse, and they're going to turn into psychological demons in a sense. It is. Like, we need to be, like, this is one thing I wanted to say, is that we need to be open to allowing men to look at us, and have a feeling without it meaning that they want to hurt us or conquer us. And that's hard, because so many women have been abused sexually, and so many men have been fucked up, that it's really, really hard, just to do that. Way back when Japan, they said, oh yeah. I mean, Japan has all kinds of problems now, but it's mostly about their work. People work so much. They work like 100 hours a week, and they live at their jobs. So it's like, and then they wonder why their population is declining. That's why, they're living in fantasy worlds, and they don't. It's really hard, actually. I had no idea it was so bad. I actually feel really bad for them now, because they're cool people for the most part. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, men get it too. They do. From other men, it's scary, and we all get, and we all have this, like, I've been told, actually, the spirits and the angels say that the Earth's consciousness, the primal wound of the Earth's consciousness is, like, sexual abuse, and that means a lot of different stuff, but it doesn't matter, The point is, like, this is the kind of stuff that we collectively repress, and it, it's okay for people to look at you and to have the feeling, as long as it's like, I find the whole thing funny, to be honest. I find it hard you know? Like, I've never really understood it that well. That's one of the reasons I put up such crazy pictures, because I find the whole thing to be kind of a joke, really. Like, as a kid, I was like, I figured like every leg was another leg, and I couldn't understand why people would feel a lust for a leg, to be honest. Stuff like that. It was really, that kind of stuff was difficult for me to, and to me it's like this big old joke because it's so silly, you know. But I like beauty, you know, and it's, you know, I love attention, everybody does. But I'm overcoming my need to be in front of people all the time. So, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. I work pretty hard on myself, and I'm still messed up, but I'm better. She says, you're so beautiful and sensual, by the way. It's so nice of her to say. Yeah, but things are, you know, it's just, it's hard now, because, and I think a lot of like this repression, I think it's driving, I mean, this is controversial, but I think it's driving some people who are, who have been repressing themselves really hard. I think it's driving them to be confused about their gender and their sexuality sometimes. Not everybody, obviously, you know, but what I would say is the same people that I see now who would just be coming out as gay in the 80s or something, or the 90s, are now transgender. And that's, like, there are people who are just transgender and they'll be trans no matter what. Like, no matter what, you know, because that's who they are. They just feel really, I know, but I'll be honest. I know a guy who's a writer now. I've known him since he was a young kid, you know. He was one of my big fans back when I was singing more actively. And he feels like a woman and like a goddess and a mother. But he's perfectly happy being a dude, which is really interesting. But he will tell you he's a mother and he's all these, and he has a lot of female energy because I've done his chart. But he's very comfortable in his body. He sees it as like just a body, just another body, you know. And that's very, very healthy, but not everybody's like that. I'm just saying, like, what I think now, though, is, like, there are people, like I said, who would just be deciding they were gay that are now, like, no, I'm trans, because, you know, they're, partly it's because, and then there's a whole other thing. The whole other thing is that the very strictness of gender roles. Yeah, yes. I found a book of goddesses when I was young, yeah. I loved the goddesses, but I never, like, to when the goddesses I grew up with were the Greek goddesses, and they're kind of one-dimensional characters or two-dimensional characters in a sense, which is like, and I loved all of them, you know, but when I got older, I started doing research into them. Oh, I'm so glad, Melissa. You tell us what you did. She did something that made her love her body more. I'm glad. I mean, one of the things that helped me is, like, way back in the day when I hated my body and I was really had a hard time. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, no, I believe it. I was just going to go on to another thing about it, but then you said something. No, but one of the things that helped me when I had, like, stretch marks and I was, like, all kinds of fucked up in my own mind, and one of the things that helped me is actually having a nude photo shoot, and it actually helped me a lot. This is one of the reasons I do that kind of stuff, because it helps me actually. Seeing my face helps me too, because I have the remnants of acne scars, but I've actually gotten a lot better over the last year too. I started using a derma roller, and I love it. And it was hard for me to even look at my own face. That's why I like selfies so much. Honestly, this stuff is therapeutic for me, really, because I had, like, such low self-esteem and stuff about, you know, everything. But you know, and that's all gender stuff too, because that's like, I mean, what do we all grow up with? We all grow up with these subliminal messages in, like, when I was a kid, it was magazines, but now it's, like, websites and stuff, but it's in the advertising. You get these messages as a kid that you're never quite good enough, and you never quite know why, you know, and it's funny because when I was a kid, the body that was popular was the very ultra-thin body with the big fake boobs, and I truly, as a teenager, thought that's what people were supposed to look like. Like, honestly, that's hard for people. Like, people are like, no, people don't really think that. Like, teenagers don't know, you know? They haven't had someone tell them. They need to see the video, the Photoshop video. Being nude, exactly. Spending a little time naked every day will help you feel